morning. Um, Today I'm going to talk a little bit about why I personally think it's a little bit difficult for um, us as people, as humans, to accept Christianity just in itself. Um, and there's a few reasons why, I believe. And throughout the video, I'm going to be quoting just a little bit of the Bible, and specifically the King James. And if you are the type to completely just shut off your ears to anything, even just the mention of the Bible or Jesus, Christianity, and all that, and you just think this is just going to be some religious nonsense, then no, that's no. But if you really just imagine for a moment and just consider, if you will, just for a moment, that, okay, I'm going to just consider maybe this might be true, what I'm about to say. And what I'm about to go over might have just at least a little bit of truth in it. If you can set some pride aside and just for just these few minutes, consider and just use your imagination that maybe this might be true. I feel like some things might be revealed to you. Who knows though? Who knows? So one reason why I think we find it so difficult to accept it is we love our sin. We are in love with our sin, and we really are. Sin is a thing that is just naturally in us. We naturally think about pretty evil things. We naturally do. Some people just naturally do some pretty evil things and not even realize it. I sin every day. We sin every single day. I'm not above anybody. But it's whenever you become aware of it. And naturally, we see nothing wrong with it because we're so in love with it. We don't see, it's almost fulfilling to some people. But God understands that. He understands that, you see nothing wrong with it. He knows that. And it's here in John 3:19, quoting the Bible. He says, "And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world," talking about Jesus, "and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil." So when he's talking about men here, he's not talking about just males. He's talking about just humans, people in general. And he says it here that light is come into the world, him, and men love darkness rather than light. And I'm sure that you might feel that. You see nothing wrong with what you're naturally doing or thinking about, and there's nothing wrong with it. And but even he knows this. You almost can't comprehend the light or the other side of it, or when it comes to Christianity, you might be just so unattracted to that side of things, and naturally you are. But it's the fact that he understands that. He knows that. Now, verse 20, the one after that, "For everyone that doeth evil hateth the light, neither cometh to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved." So that last part, lest his deeds should be reproved. Reproved means a consequence, or you see whenever you actually get what you kind of deserve for whenever you're in sin. But naturally, you're not gonna be reproved for what you do. And he says it here that you're not going to even want to come to that light to even consider it, because we as people are just so in it. We really are. It's naturally a part of us. Sorry. And so overall, in that part, he knows that we love our sin. He knows that we do, and he knows that it's difficult for us to comprehend or even think about the other side of it, and even think about putting it away. So he understands that. Another reason probably is pride. Pride's a big one. I personally struggle with pride the most. I feel like that's one of my biggest ones. But pride can be a lot of things. And even just listening, if you came like this far and even just listening to what I'm saying, you've already set aside some pride, because you are open to the fact that, okay, maybe there is more than this, maybe than what we observe physically. Maybe there is something kind of else going on, or maybe there's something that I don't know when it comes to outside of this. Maybe I don't know a few things. So if you've already kind of made it this far, then that's good. So when it comes to pride, a lot of people think that what we know, and no judgment, everybody is there. What we know is the absolute truth, us as humans, us as people, and what we think about our natural wisdom, is, it has to be the truth. But in 1 Corinthians 1:19, God says, "For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise and will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent." So prudent isn't such a terrible thing. But whenever it comes to this, prudent is looked at, I don't know. Prudent means you are cautious, though. If you are a prudent person when it comes to your thinking, that's not bad. You are cautious. You don't want to be deceived easily, and that's totally fine. But sometimes some people have so much pride within their prudency, and that I don't want to be deceived. I think it's right. But God says that you won't. If you keep that mentality, if you keep on applying that to something like this, which is not, it can't really compare, to this physical type of place that we're in. Whenever you can set aside that prudentness, though, then things will open up to you. You're not going to be deceived. Don't believe me, though. Do your own research. I'm just a man. Don't believe me, though. I don't want to, because that's what a deceiver would say, or somebody attempting to deceive somebody. I'm not attempting to deceive anybody right here, at all. Not at all. I just want to lay out some things and maybe why we are so unattracted to Christianity. So, yeah, and some people just think a little bit too highly of our wisdom, but again, He knows this. God understands that, which I think is amazing. So another one is needing a sign. Some people, and it kind of goes hand in hand with pride. You think that we're so intelligent, and we think that we know absolutely everything, and just naturally that's how it is. I'm saying we because I understand as well. Needing a sign, Jesus also talks about this in John 4:48. Then Jesus said unto him, "Except ye see signs and wonders, ye will not believe." So He understands that as well. He understands that us as humans, we take a lot of pride in ourselves, and most people, they need something, that will satisfy them, that will satisfy their flesh, that will, to be able to turn to them. But that's, if you're looking for that, then you're never going to get it. I'm sorry. I do feel sorry for you. But it's just for a moment. If you can just set it aside for a moment, that need of a sign. It's, what's the harm in it? It's I don't know. It's a little bit different. So, and another reason I think is some people think about, well, what will others think about me? Well, for one, if they're even worth being around, then they won't shame you or even, do anything to you for even considering Christian, or just looking into Christianity, or kind of, going a little bit deeper into it, and, maybe there is something to this. And in Matthew 10:22, Jesus says, "And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved." So he knows that most people, since they are in darkness and they can't even comprehend the light, and I'll probably make future videos more about specifically darkness, light, and stuff like that, but when it means darkness, it's just in sin. And light means light is getting out of that natural feeling. And so most people are in that darkness, and they are going to rebuke you or shun you or dislike you just for even considering the fact that, just Christianity in general. They think that you might be thinking that they're going to call you a loser or something like that, but it's part of it. There are people in this world that really do think that way. But and some people that is a big risk to take, others' perception of themselves. But whenever you can also set that aside and see the reward for focusing on yourself, what's the harm in, why should I care about others think about me whenever I care about my life? Whenever you look into these things, you're caring about your life. Not even if you're being converted. If you just consider these things, you're not being converted. You're not going to be set in a certain religion. You're not a religious person. You care about your life a little bit. You're an open-minded person. You actually care about just a little bit what's beyond what we physically see, and even after this life you care, which isn't in a lot of people, but if you do, it's a good trait to have. Another one is we think that we'll be happier without it. We think we'll be happier without it, and that's a big one. I was definitely there as well. God also understands this one. In John 4:13-14, Jesus answered and said unto her, he's at a well, he's at a drinking well at this point. Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. Now what he's saying there is, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. He's talking to just a woman. Now by that, when he's saying this water, he's talking about the water of this world, which is just naturally bringing in and consuming just sin and what feels good to our body and what feels really good in our mind and just what feels really good. As you consume that and keep consuming it, you're gonna thirst again. You might be thinking to yourself, oh, I'll be happier whenever I get this job. I'll be happier whenever I finish school. I'll be happier whenever I go here. I'll be happier when this happens. And I'm sure you are happy right now. But you're gonna thirst again. You're gonna just keep kind of replacing whenever there's a base there that doesn't need replacing. And he mentions it in number 4 in the verse right after it. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give them shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life. Now you don't got to focus on the whole verse, just that first half. But whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. Again, to you this might just sound like a bunch of religious, Bible. But again, let's just set our pride aside for just a moment and just kind of consider, maybe this might be true. Maybe. It's your life. I feel like if you care about your life, at least consider this. And I can speak from experience that I was thirsting every time I would consume these worldly things. I would just always look for something different. But then I started caring a little bit, and I started applying some of these things, and I feel like I do have a base. But I don't want to get too much into about me, though. This is just why, again, I'm just talking about why I think it's difficult for people to accept Christianity. So yeah, we think that we'll be happier without it, and naturally, that's how it is. Naturally, that's how we are. He understands. Here, he says it. He knows this, and he understands that people think this way. But there is a way to see the other side of it. But the hard part is, when you can set all these things aside, which is hard because it's naturally within us, it's hard, it's so difficult to set these things aside. Our love for our sin, our pride, our need and assign us as humans, and not considering what others will think about me, their opinion, and us thinking that we'll be happier without Christianity. It is so difficult for us to set these things aside. It is, and that is the hard part. But when you can actually look inward And I think only a few of you might actually kind of understand what I'm talking about. I mean, looking inward and genuinely saying to yourself, to your soul, because you do have a soul, that maybe I am pretty messed up. Maybe the natural things that I want to do and think that are right, if you think about it, maybe it's not right, really. It's not, no, there's no value or goodness to it. And you start to kind of come to that realization, then you've already, wow, I mean, that's amazing, because you've set aside your pride. Setting aside our pride is a heavy one. But whenever you can set aside that love for sin, that heavy pride, that needing of a sign, and what will others think of me, it's difficult, but that's the only hard part, in my opinion. It's harder for others more than other people, but for me it was really difficult personally. That's when the easy part comes, which is salvation. And salvation is simply just genuinely in your heart, and I feel like only a few of you will actually kind of understand what I'm talking about there, and I hope you do. And if you don't, please, just look into it. This is something that you can benefit a lot from. Even just not converting to Christianity, but it's looking inward and saying to yourself, yeah, I am pretty messed up. So, and then salvation comes into play, and salvation is simply just, when it comes to Christianity, salvation is realizing this and just confessing to him, because he knows you can't naturally. I sin every single day. Everybody does. Now, if somebody tells you that they're perfect and that they don't sin anymore after they're saved, they're lying. It's not. No, you can't. But he knows this, and naturally it is a part of you. If you can just confess to him that, you know what, I am really messed up, and generally in your heart ask him for forgiveness, to forgive you, and to wash those sins away with the spiritual blood of the Lord Jesus Christ, your soul is saved. But you have to mean it in your soul. He doesn't want your natural, he doesn't want your body, he doesn't want your mind. He doesn't want that. He knows that it's evil. Naturally, there's no saving this sin. There's no stopping sin. You can't stop sinning. You just want your soul. That's all. And if you can mean it really, and that's where salvation comes in, then you are saved. And that's Christianity. So that's why I think it's pretty difficult for us to accept it. It's hard for us to even just realize, that, or even just consider. It's difficult to even consider for a fact that naturally I'm pretty messed up. I'm pretty evil. The imaginations, the thoughts that you have, the actions that you take, you realize that, okay, maybe there is something else to this. So whenever you can, the love for sin, that pride, that needing for a sign, and thinking about what others might think about me, and thinking that you might be happier without it. And there's multiple other reasons, but these are just some ones that I think are in most cases. And it is difficult to set those aside. So that's why I think it's difficult and hard for people, us as humans, to accept Christianity, because it's looking at, you are it's a heavy one, but that's just the hard part. But salvation is, it's so easy if you mean it. You just ask. He's not asking you to do this, do that, eat this, don't eat that, do this, and just all this other stuff. It's just realizing, hey, you know what? In your heart, I'm messed up. I need forgiveness. That's it. It's so easy. Now, don't take my word for it. In all of this, please don't take my word. I'm just a random kid on the internet. But don't take my word for it. If you are genuinely interested and care about just your life in general, then look into this stuff just a little bit more. Now, if you made it this far, I mean, then you've already even considered that, okay, or maybe you made it this far just for other reasons. But there's some people that made it this far because they are genuinely interested in their life. They care about their life, and and if you have an open mind, I just hope and I ask that you just look a little bit more into it and kind of form some things on your own about what you think about this, and just kind of create your own thoughts about it and what your opinions are about it. Because even just most people don't even just think about this. This is, if you care about your life, this is, this is just this could just be another, just part of your research. It's just, okay, this is a thing, and just consider it for a moment. A day out of the 80 years on average, 75 maybe, you have on this life, on this earth, in this life, on this earth, just consider for just a sliver of it. Maybe what's after, or how can I make my life better? How can I see things a little bit differently? I've been seeing things the same for a while now. Why don't I just change it up a little bit? And maybe, and I hope that some things will be revealed to you. So yeah, like I said, it's not. I'm only a tool. I'm a human, just like everyone else. So don't take my word for it. Please go out, do your own research. I'm gonna link a channel to a guy named Wesley Huff. He's a professional religious scholar. He has a very unbiased information about why the Bible is reliable. And because I have used the Bible as examples and to kind of support what I'm saying. And if you can't set aside your pride, if you really just can't, not even for a moment, set aside that pride in your mind, and even consider that what I'm saying might be true, for one, you're kind of proving what I said right. But if you really can't, then I feel like then he kind of goes into it a little bit, and I think he'll help you out a little bit. So yeah, I just hope you consider at least just a little bit of what I said today, and the benefits are great if you do decide to. But yeah, that's also why that's just why I think it's so difficult for us to accept Christianity, and just know that he understands. So yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day.